Hello and welcome back to Simple Ground. Today you are looking at my computer screen with me while I'm doing a little bit of studying about the property in Washington that we're buying and building a homestead on. For those of you who don't know, we're leaving our homestead in Idaho and we're moving to Washington. 34 acres of bare ground, bare as you see it. Um, this is really wet climate, pretty close to rainforest type climate, and just gorgeous. And really, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be building a homestead from the ground up. There's nothing here. And we are so excited to do this. It's going to be so incredible. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a benefit for all of you. You know, so far, all of my videos have been stuff that I've had experience with. I've grown up farming and I've grown up ranching, and I have a lot of experience using tools and so on. And yes, there's some things that I've picked up that I've never done before, but this experience, moving out and taming this little plot of ground, is going to be fresh and new. And I hope you guys see something useful and beneficial. I'm doing it for you as well as for me. This is going to be an adventure of a lifetime, and we're excited to do it. Now, it's been a while since I've given you an update, and this video is here to give you that update and answer some of your questions. The biggest question is why? Why are you leaving your homestead in Idaho to move to this place and do this thing, especially since the one in Idaho is so good? And I'll agree. I love this place that we're at currently, and I've done a lot of work. And the reason why, to answer the question, the reason why we're going is we feel like we've had a spiritual experience. We feel like God has told us to move. And to be clear, I'm not trying to say that he told us to move out and do this thing that we're doing. What I'm trying to say instead, though, is we felt like we needed to move to Washington, and he led us this direction. And then, making sense of what we felt, we're trying to have a go at what we're doing already and just carry it with us. So, no turning back. To avoid being swallowed by a whale, we are acting with a little bit of faith here. Otherwise, yes, our ground is wonderful. The property in Idaho has been an amazing experience, and no looking back. Onward and upward. So while I have you here looking at my computer, let's look at some photographs, aerial and on the ground, and then look at Google Earth a little bit. And I'll give you just a glimpse of some of the processes I've been going through to plan. Maybe later I can give you a more in-depth video about planning. So there's a lot of steps and phases in planning and building a homestead. And in this modern world, it's not the same as it used to be. You know, it used to be that you'd look for water, you would look for good dirt, and you would, think, I want to put a house next to some water, next to some good land for pastures, for buildings. I want it to be safe and protected and so on. And you'd look at those things, you'd pick your spot and you'd stick it down, right? Now, government has its fingers in so many things, for good and for ill, maybe. But you have to check with the local authorities before you do anything. And it's very true in the county that we're moving into. So my current step has been to check with the county on protected areas within my own property and knowing where they will allow me to build, to protect wetland life, mostly is wetland, and then to protect myself. They want me to stay away from steep slopes and so on. So what we're looking at here is our hope for a place to build a house. And again, according to what the county says in the preliminary search, this may or may not work, but we're thinking right here in this area, we'll build our 30-foot yurt. We're looking at a yurt kit. Maybe you'll have more information on that coming up. I can give you a full episode on that, I think. Here's another angle from above. You can see there's quite a bit of stuff to clear out. And here's another angle at it. Very young growth. It's going to take a lot of chainsaw work, and then I have all those little stumps to pull out. But I'm excited. I'm excited to dig in. Again, this is the area where we're thinking of the house, and then, you know, outbuildings could go along here possibly, depending on what the county says, over here as well. And then pasture ground, so on. This that you're looking at is a wetland. I know you can see this little stream right here. Where the wetland actually begins, I don't know. But this is a piece that I'm pretty sure the county is trying to protect. Hopefully I'm far enough away from that there's no trouble. And this is 100 or 300 feet above the ground, looking out and across from my wonderful aerial explorer that I enlisted to help me with this project. This is the modern part of homesteading. Since when did one of the old homesteaders get this type of a view? Never, ever, ever. And it's wonderful. It's been handy to be able to look up and above, because I can't just go walking through this. It's so thick that there's only certain paths, and those are the paths that the cougars and the bears take, which I still take them myself, but there's only a limited amount of searching around, which leads to this other awesome thing that I've been using. Coming up in a future video will be more about Google Earth, but Google Earth is a planner's friend. Here we are looking at that same view that we were just looking at, and but I'm standing on the ground, and Google Earth has this great 3D rendered topography feature, which removes all the trees and growth pretty much, you know, from the picture. And I can just look at topography, and I can learn things like, okay, so this is where we're thinking of building the house. There's a gentle slope, which will help with drainage. Nothing too tall beside it. This is close, but it's far enough away that I'm out of danger. And then turning all the way around, good gentle slope for pasture, and other things. So also, since I get all the rain that I do, here is a great spot for the runoff to run off. And maybe I can find water along here. I have a guy coming out to the property this coming week to walk around with me and help me find water. It sounds like wells might be out of the question. Again, we're driving along the property here, walking, whatever it would be. And you get a good sense of what it's like. The property line goes up and along this ridge, it cuts across somewhere in here. I don't know for sure. And it goes along here. Oh, well, not that high. Down here, along this route here. And it'll cut back somewhere in here. I'm not exactly sure. 34 acres. Looks wonderful. I'm so excited. And again, we're thinking over here for our house, according to what the county says. But if the county says that doesn't work, we're thinking this might be a second option. It's a little less flat, but this area in particular will be flat enough. Google makes it look a lot more steep than it is standing on the ground. And we'll go back to some pictures of it. Again, here's the fork in the road. This is the spot where we think we'd build the house, and then there would be a little bit of room in here for some buildings and pastures and stuff. Again, not as ideal, but it'll work great. Some other angles at it. And again, another angle. Just a little bit of a view. House right here. And then back to where the camper was, right here in this area. Thinking of building the house right here again. Just beautiful country. I'm really excited to dig in. Beautiful timber on the ground. They went and deforested it or timbered it 10 years ago, but they've left some trees in some of the harder to reach spots and some of the wet spots. But, on my small scale, I can get to them and do what I need to with them. Thanks again for watching this Simple Ground video. I hope you liked what you saw. I know that just hearing my voice and looking at pictures could be a little boring, but thanks for sticking it out. You made it to the end. And if this is at all interesting to you and this new adventure is what you want to see, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And do me a favor, share it with a friend that would like to see this. Thank you again for all your help that you've given me so far. I've been loving reading the comments on my previous videos. Keep it coming. And if I had another question to ask, it would be, what have you guys done to remove blackberries and brambles in the past? I'm open to any ideas. I'm going to try to keep it something I can do by hand, but, whatever idea is a good idea for me, I'll listen to them. And I'd also like to know what tips you would give me about preserving the land as I clear it. Want to do it with a very low impact, small footprint. Anyway, as always, thanks for taking this journey with me on Simple Ground, and I look forward to making my next video.